It is early as fuck. What? It is early as fuck in the morning o'clock, and I am recording a Melanie Martinez commentary video. Yay! But I would also like to say thank you all for 52 subscribers. I was not prepared for that big of a jump from, what was it, 20 something all the way to 50. Like, y'all actually went crazy for my Alistair commentary. I also got really good feedback from everybody who are asexual, just like me, and aromantic people. And I 100% want to say thank you so much for even taking time out of your day, 16 minutes to be exact, out of your day to leave a comment, tell me that I'm doing well, and, you know, give me criticism, because unfortunately, water is not wet. Oh my god, you learn something new every day. But that's besides the point. Again, thank you guys so much for giving my video time, and I'm very happy to know that all of you like it, because I was not expecting that big of a jump at all. But yeah, let's get on with today's video. I lied, I'm not recording this shit right now. It is 4:02 in the morning. I'm getting my ass to sleep. I will wake up and do this later. Ciao.
Please do not attempt to harass any individuals mentioned in the video. This video is for commentary purposes only and to talk about things that are public knowledge already. Anything stated in this video is alleged and should be taken with a grain of salt until the situation has been 100% confirmed by people involved. Thanks for watching and enjoy the video.
Yeah, I made a new one.
This video will go over topics that may be unsettling to some viewers. Discretion is advised, and I recommend watching with caution. Your mental health matters.
Are you bored of hiding under the ice behind 3 stupid doors because your parents decided to do nothing while the murder drones build a spire of corpses? Yeah, playing cards get really boring really fast, but you want to know what doesn't get boring really fast? In my opinion, Bacon in the Soap's YouTube channel, Zombie Drone. If you're not new, how's it going, homie? If you are new, then listen up. Only 17.3 of you are actually subscribed to my channel. If you like my voice, if you like my commentary, if you like my games, I say smash that like button, ring that bell, and do other stuff. I like opinions, I say opinions, and I'm open to opinions. So what are you waiting for? Playing cards so much that the numbers are fading, or till the murder drones get you with their nanite acid? Please subscribe, please. I love you. Platonically. Okay, add over. Picture this. You're a 7th grader going through probably the worst breakup of your life. That happened for 4 days in 6th grade. So you join a class in hopes to get back together with him. It does not work. So what do? Listen to Melanie Martinez's Crybaby album on repeat for the rest of 7th grade in hopes you'd grab his attention because you're loudly and proudly singing the lyrics to Mad Hatter? Because you totally don't sound crazy doing that, freak.
Oh yes, get snackable. Hello, Uzi. Hi, Em.
Howdy there, worker drones. If you're new around here, welcome to the channel. Stick around, you might like it here. If you're not new, welcome to the confusing end of my support for Crybaby, Melanie Martinez. I'm Bacon in the Soap, here to talk about why I'm in the middle of being a crybaby and not being one. I'm in the middle of it more so because the fan base is weird, but what fan base isn't weird anymore? To be completely honest, this entire thing is confusing to me. I don't know if everyone's sweeping things under the rug again, or we're all leaving this alone, but I want to put my 2 cents in there in the perspective of someone who has supported Melanie even when the allegations first came out. I was relieved when they were told to be false, but now they're coming back, and I'm lost on whether or not they are true or false. That'll come later on in the video, but let's get started. I lied to you. Before we get started, I'd like to mention that this is an updated version of the script. I actually started working on this like later on yesterday night. Actually earlier this morning at 2:14 a.m. because, you know, I started working on the actual script for this April of 2025. because I was like, I kind of want to dip my toes in the Melanie Timothy Heller thing because I love Melanie Martinez. I am a fan of Melanie Martinez. And, the whole Timothy Heller thing was just kind of confusing to me because, Melanie released the song and everybody's like, oh, so Timothy lied, essentially. And suddenly, we're running Timothy off the internet. And then come July 19th, she makes a video. Yeah, so that'll come later. But anyway, let's continue. Who is Melanie Martinez? To the 52 subscribers that I have, thank you so much. May or may not know who she is. But why not give y'all a summary based on a zombie's perspective? A 7th grade zombie's perspective who is angsty, sad, and trying to get back together with someone who Avi wasn't interested and made it clear that he wasn't. Melanie Adele Martinez, creator of Crybaby, K-12, and the little alien thing. She's literally me, my spirit animal. Her lyrics struck a nerve and they're so relatable. I just might cry. I was an angsty 7th grader, bite me. Anyway, she made the Crybaby album back in 2015 and I was eating that shit up. Like I'm over here listening to the Crybaby album, the Dollhouse album, and the unreleased music that was uploaded to YouTube and SoundCloud. Her music was really good and the artist's art for the character Crybaby was also really good. So kudos to them. Although they later on become controversial. Anyway, although now the theme of Crybaby is, as I just said, controversial, I still enjoy the songs nonetheless. I know that contradicts the premise of the video, but I'd rather be honest than not honest at all. Now let's get onto the part of why this video is titled Melanie. Why is this confusing? I will note that this section will be mentioning topics like SA and if you're not comfortable with these topics, I would suggest watching another video or maybe sitting out on them because that's what most videos covering Martinez is about. Now, all the evidence covered in this video is provided by the r/Melanie Martinez Reddit page. I will also be reading the discussion rules to you because I want this also to be known in my video as well. Due to the severity of these allegations, discussions about this topic must be serious and respectful. Memes, jokes, or any unserious discussion will be removed. Please approach this situation with tact and maturity. Although we do not want to censor discussion about Timothy's allegations, we do want to moderate the space to be respectful and free of toxic behavior. Hate, bullying, or harassment targeting Melanie or Timothy will not be tolerated. Trolls and blatant rage bait will be removed. Discussion about this topic must either have properly sourced and sustained information or else be presented as speculation. Do not spread misinformation. Timothy Heller has never withdrawn her allegations and any evidence of her doing so is falsified. Please follow the subreddit rules and treat each other with respect. Now, before we dip our toes into the fairy soiree, I want to add that Melanie hasn't uploaded or have been active on her social media. She'll post stories on her Instagram of her living her best life and doing things she likes, and that's fine. Every artist deserves rest, especially after everything that they've been through with touring, K-12, and the allegations that she honestly should have kind of talked about a bit more when they first dropped, but instead, she kind of just put out a pretty interesting response that didn't explain much of anything or confirm nor deny the allegations. She just let it die down on his own, and it did for a while. In November of 2017, an ex-friend that we all now know as Timothy Heller posted a now deleted tweet asking her audience for advice on how to come forward about a story of abuse. The tweet didn't call Mel's name verbatim or refer to Mel in any way. It was a pretty vague tweet. But on December 4th, 2017, Timothy revealed that the vague tweet was talking about Melanie Martinez. Timothy's tweet read, "When I wrote this story about my assault, I initially wasn't going to make the abuser, but I think it's important for you all to know that this is about Melanie Martinez." When she first made the tweet, it was received really well by her audience. Everyone was sending her love and prayers and telling her she was really brave for posting this and coming out with her side. But with that coming out, Melanie responded to her allegation a day later that stated, "I am horrified and saddened by the statements and story told tonight by Timothy Heller. What she and I shared was a close friendship for a period of time. We came into each other's lives as we were both starting our careers as artists, and we tried to help each other. We both had pain in dealing with our individual demons and the new paths we are forging, but I truly felt we were trying to lift each other up. She never said no to what we chose to do together, and although we parted ways, I am sending her love and light always." After that post was made, people were quick to put out their opinions. I was a bit confused on the matter back then because I was in 8th grade, but reading back on this as an adult, the part of she never said no to what we chose to do together, I don't really know what to say about that. Saying no isn't easy sometimes, no matter how close of friends the two people in question are. You also have to admit Melanie kind of already had a bigger audience than Timothy back then, so there was maybe a smidge of a power imbalance. Also, I remember that there were people who allegedly tried to say that Melanie couldn't have done it. She was younger than her, which is a bit odd to say. Young kids are capable of doing things adults do all the time. Older, younger, essay is essay. Of course, I don't know when they became friends or how old they were when this stuff happened, but that's besides the point. No, it isn't. Actually, that was a line written in the script. I was looking more into this last night and I found out that Melanie and Timothy both were teenagers. Presumably Melanie being the younger teenager out of the, two, and Timothy being the older one, and they were both intoxicated together. So, I mean, she never said no to what we chose to do together, kinda, I guess they were both too high to even remember or too high to even consent at all. So, I don't know. Let me know what you guys think. After the whole fight of Melanie versus Timothy, Melanie Martinez made a song called Piggyback. The song, in my opinion, kind of sounds like it was her explaining her side of the story, mostly through song. Piggyback came out December 22nd, 2017, 16 to 17 days after the allegations started popping off. The song kind of, I guess, cleared Melanie's name for a while, which, to be honest, not really the best move to make. Because yes, the song is a beautiful song and I really like it, but you're talking about someone tarnishing your name for fame, people jealous of you for the fame you have, but you're being accused of sexual assault. And some people are taking it a step further and calling you a I don't think a song would be something I put out if Timothy's supporters were calling me a even though Timothy told everyone it was sexual assault. Back it up, pickup truck. That's not okay. So, I have. Oh, by the way, this is Future Bacon here editing. I actually looked at the response, or like the little notes app thing inside of the tweet that she posted, the vague tweet, and yeah, no, she accused Melanie of rape. That's literally, we're gonna sit here together and we're gonna read this. All right, here it goes. I actually have my phone with me right now because it's kind of hard to see on my second monitor because my second monitor isn't exactly a PC monitor, it is my laptop. And reading a script off that thing is so difficult, and that's one of the main reasons why I have so many like blips in my script when I'm like talking or like sound like I'm stuttering and shit like that, because I cannot see. Even with my glasses on, I cannot see. But anyways, for the first little thing, it says, I have kept this secret for years, convincing myself that it wasn't a big deal and I wasn't hurt by it. The thought of accepting that my best friend me seems insane. Even typing that doesn't feel real to me. I started telling this story to those closest to me as a somewhat of a joke. Haha, can you believe this crazy night? But I began to get responses I wasn't expecting. Concerned ones. It's hard to say someone you loved you, someone you still love. The thought of writing this and having the world see it terrifies me, especially because of who this person is. This was my best friend. She took me in, which I was so grateful for. I felt like I owed her my life, and my life began to revolve around hers. I had my own problems, but if I could focus on her life, I could put off dealing with my own inner turmoil just for a bit longer. Some of her fans became my fans, but their loyalty never strayed from her. They are dedicated. She's perfect. To the public, she can do no wrong. She's there for her fans. She gets it. She's different. When fated with a friend who really needed help, though, I can honestly say she let me down completely. During the most difficult time in my life, my rock bottom, her power and control over me grew and grew, and I was silenced. While being open about realizing how much help I needed, I was made to feel guilty. I had to apologize for having an extreme panic attack where I thought I was going to die because it ruined her night. Endless incidents like this, I had become a problem. Yet through it all, I loved her. Codependency works in a lot of strange ways. In my relationship with this friend, I was dependent on helping her with her life. As soon as I needed a small bit of focus and support from my best friend, there was nothing for us to relate to each other about. Our friendship was about her. The power she had over me grew into me having a very hard time saying no to her. I would do almost anything for her. One night during a sleepover, she became increasingly interested in my sexual preferences. As someone who has had previously been through sexual abuse, sex is hard for me to talk about. I was obviously uncomfortable, but she was my best friend, so I tried to be open about it.
The conversation never seemed to end though. I had work very early in the morning. She began asking me while in bed if I would have sex with her. While being incredibly uncomfortable by this offer, I attempted to laugh it off. I had a boyfriend at this time, and she knew that. He doesn't have to know, it's not a big deal. It went on for hours, asking me why I didn't want to, that it would be fun. I repeatedly said no. I had work in the morning. I just wanted to sleep. I was exhausted. I attempted to sleep, but was kept up the entire night by my friend begging me to sleep with her. It seemed strange, but she was my best friend. I said no. I thought we could move on. The next night, unfortunately, went the same way. Regardless of my response the first night, she was not giving up. If she had gotten the hint, she didn't care. I was exhausted. She convinced me to smoke weed, and since I have a hard time saying no to her, I complied, thinking maybe I'd just be able to fall asleep and avoid the situation altogether. The same conversation began to happen, continuously trying to convince me it was going to be okay and it would be fun and feel good. I would say my boyfriend would be so upset. I really need to sleep. I have work in the morning. I said every form of no I could think of. As I lay praying to fall asleep, she began touching my arm. I allowed this to happen. Maybe she'd give up. This went on for about an hour. I got increasingly uncomfortable. I started giggling, saying that it tickled. I in no way wanted to make this a sexual situation. Can I do this? Can I just touch your arm? Can I touch your boobs? She began bartering me. All I wanted to do was go to sleep. She began talking about the appearance of my boobs and begged to just touch them. We didn't have to do anything else. I was so exhausted and confused and high and belittled, I just allowed it to happen. This led to her touching the rest of me. I never said yes. I said no repeatedly, but she used her power over me and broke me down. Just so there's no confusion, I was by my best friend. I lay still in shock, completely not reciprocating. I hate speaking so bluntly on this because it makes me extremely uncomfortable, but she performed oral sex on me, and then I was penetrated with a sex toy without being asked. That's what happened. The bottom line that I need to always remind myself is that I said no for 2 nights straight. It doesn't matter that I didn't resist during the action. I had been broken down. She knew I didn't want to. I made that clear. I didn't scream at her. I didn't force her off of me. 1, because I loved her. 2, because I wanted it to be all over. We never talked about this night ever again. While it completely messed with my head, there was no way I could have been by my best friend, right? Our friendship ended because she decided she didn't have time for me anymore, to worry about me anymore. She cared too much about me. It was holding her back. I'm not sure how to end this story. I'm terrified of the response I'm going to get. The only reason I do this now is because I'm hoping, because of recent events, people will believe me. If you begin to doubt the abuse taking place in my story, I beg you to imagine her role in this being a man. Girls can girls. Best friends can best friends. Friendship does not equal consent. Silence does not equal consent. I wish it wasn't so hard for me to convince myself these things.
Sorry, I have to re-record this because for some reason I can hear myself in the background, but Timothy has every right to feel the way she's feeling, especially after taking time to actually read the statement that Timothy put out. This is completely disheartening, and knowing that your friend just didn't give a shit about your boundaries, especially knowing the kind of power imbalance that she had, kind of says a lot about her character. I mean, you know, there are hundreds of ways you could say no to a person, and those are definitely ways of saying no to a person, and Mel should have just respected that, but you know, now we're here. And quite frankly, I'm really hoping at some point they kind of just like talk it out, but it's going to be a bit difficult to have Melanie reach out to Timothy, specifically because she said that she blocked her everywhere.
So someone just asked this, and I have it written down. Has Mel reached out to you? I know the answer, but for everyone that
no, she hasn't.
She hasn't even tried. Has she tried to talk to your boyfriend or not?
I mean, we both have her blocked, but I feel like there could have been other ways for her to reach me. I mean, my email's on my Instagram.
Mm-hmm.
So it's kind of hard to get a hold of her. And last I saw, she said that she's blocked Melanie everywhere, which will make it a little bit hard, but she even said she could email me. And it's like, well, she really can't email you because she has you blocked on your Instagram and stuff like that, so she won't be able to reach out even if she wanted to. But to be honest, that just kind of goes to show that maybe you don't really want to speak to her, and that's completely fine. Everyone has different ways of coping, and everybody has different ways of getting their story out to the public, and people have ways
of portraying their, you know, sadness or their disheartenment. People grieve differently, but you know, again, we're just outsiders looking in, specifically because of the stuff that's already out, stuff that's public knowledge. So we aren't exactly able to form a coherent opinion because we are listening to two different sides of the story. But yeah, that's pretty much my take on all that. I'd put a more formal statement out, but I'm not Melanie, so what's done is done. Anyway, after her statement and song, crybabies took it upon themselves and did deep dives on why Timothy's accusations held no merit. Melanie's name was cleared. People ran Timothy off the internet, Timothy was labeled as a liar, and Melanie had a stable fan base for a while. Until Melanie Martinez's sexual assault allegations came back up as a popular topic of discussion back in April of 2025, especially after Timothy came back on July 19th, 2024, readdressing the allegations.
Speaking out against my abuser ruined my life, and I'd like to talk to you about it. I'm gonna be reading something I wrote. It's not particularly well written, but I just needed to collect my thoughts. Whether you know who I am or not, I ask you to please listen to my story. If you do recognize me, then you haven't heard from me in a couple of years, and that's because I was effectively run off the internet. You also may have heard that I admitted to lying or that it was proven that I lied. Neither are true. Speaking out against my abuser ruined my life. Here's how we got to that point.
To summarize the video, Timothy recounts how coming forward with her story of sexual assault during the Me Too movement led to devastating consequences. After sharing her story on her platform, Melanie Martinez responded with a statement that unintentionally validated Timothy's experience. However, it shifted the public's opinions on the matter. She talked about how it was a bad idea she did an interview with Daily Mail about the timeline, which kind of gave Melanie's fan base the open door to discredit Timothy, labeling her to be a liar. This led to a massive hate mob being sent Timothy's way that not only led to her destroying her career, but this also led to people leaking her private information. Like, what the fuck? The backlash forced her to abandon her public life and music career, which ultimately did damage to her mental health as well, which would cause any kind of mental health issues to anybody. Like, imagine a giant group of people that are a huge fan of insert this person here, putting out your public information just because you know, made allegations of sexual assault to someone. Like, true or false, making allegations as strong as sexual assault can lead to backlash on the person who's calling somebody out's end, because they don't want to believe that their, you know, their favorite artist, their favorite influencer, anybody that they really look up to is in some way a predator. And after years of silence and private suffering, she came back to ask for understanding, letting everyone know that what she accused Melanie of was the truth, and is now asking her audience or whomever comes across the video to help correct the false narrative about her. Because why are we doxing people? What do you gain from that? Or what gratification do you get from putting people in danger? No one deserves to be doxed. If you believe Timothy to be a liar, why not just block her? Why not share your opinion like, oh, I believe Timothy is a liar, and leave it at that and move on? I honestly feel like this shouldn't have came to the public anyway. I feel like Timothy should have DM'd Melanie or talked to her privately about it so she could kind of let her know she didn't appreciate what happened to them all those years ago, or whenever it happened. I say all those years ago lightly. Allegations of sexual assault, rape, if you feel like that's what happened to you. Of course, it doesn't matter when it happened or where it happened or why it happened. It happened. And essentially, you know, you gotta talk to the person about it. You don't have to, but like, if you're going to come out publicly with it in hopes of tearing her, you know, career apart, I would much rather be told like, hey, what you did to me, I really don't appreciate that. And, you know, if she's like, oh, but that's not what I did though, or like if she's coming off hostile, then of course I would kind of let everybody know like, hey, your favorite artist did this to me and I didn't like the way she responded. So, yeah, but even then, why are we, you know what? Never mind. Like I said, I'm open to criticism in the comments. Please correct me if I am getting anything wrong. Let's bounce back to when the allegations started rising again, especially when Timothy was doing interviews with people. One interview that was criticized more than others was the live stream that took place December 9th, 2017. The person who joined her live was allegedly 15, which, to be honest, not the best move on her part. Like, why are you talking to a 15-year-old about this? It was really irresponsible on her end to invite a 15-year-old on live. However, a lot of the people asking questions about the whole sexual assault thing were Melanie Martinez fans. And sure, Mel fans wanted answers, but talking about sexual assault to a minor at your big age isn't really the best way to go, especially if it's not educational, from a teacher, or from the 15-year-old's parents. If it's not really for educational purposes to inform, or if you're not their family member, guardian, parent, then it's not really the best move to make. I understand wanting to get your story out, but there are better ways of doing it. Sorry if that sounds mean. But as I've seen, people were very suspicious of the fact that the situation was swept under the rug rather quickly. Timothy Heller's methods of getting her story out there was a big topic of discussion, mainly due to how she handled the situation, in poor taste. But no one really handled the situation well, especially not homeboy Edwin. I remember that video. Unfortunately, the video though seems to be either deleted or privated, but he was definitely not a fan of Mel, which, that's fine. When your friend tells you you were sexually assaulted by an artist, of course that friend is gonna, feel some kind of way about said artist, but what was done publicly was a very childish way of going about it. Yeah, a whole mess. Not only are the allegations of what happened to Timothy coming back to light, but newer allegations of child sexualization are coming out as well, mainly centering 𝒸𝒽𝓃, the character, and people finding certain scene of K-12 disturbing, that or they just find K-12 disturbing in general, which is fine. That's up to the viewer's interpretation, whether or not it was good or in poor taste. I won't invalidate people's feelings on the matter. Though Timothy was only brought up maybe towards the beginning of the rising concern for Martinez, but as the whole cancel Melanie thing progressed further, people started digging into Melanie and saw her 𝒸𝒽𝓃 coloring book and thought having a child character in certain situations is not great. Which, yeah, I understand why people think the drawings are disturbing. As much as I love Melanie Martinez's music, that coloring book didn't really need to happen. Like, having a child going through some fucked up shit isn't a new concept. A lot of people, hell, artists have characters that go through something like this, and children have a lot of childhoods similar to 𝒸𝒽𝓃, or not even just the children, adults recollect certain aspects of their childhood being similar to 𝒸𝒽𝓃. But I guess the way the artist drew it kind of sat sourly with the public, which also begs the question, why is this Melanie's fault? Shouldn't we be critical to the artist about it? She drew it. Unless the artist came out saying, oh, Melanie asked me to do this, she wanted me to draw it like this. Then maybe we should kind of side-eye the creator of the coloring book instead of Melanie Martinez? I don't know. New concept, I know. Anyway, Melanie Martinez hasn't really been actively trying to defend or explain herself or try to even write something about letting everyone know that she's trying to gather as much evidence as she can. She's been silent about the allegations since it first came back, and I know it's her choice to choose whether or not to discuss it, but in all honesty, it's starting to worry me. There's also a part of me that wants to believe that she wants to talk about it, but due to the company she's under, they probably think it's best not to talk about it at all. The part that makes me feel bad for her, especially seeing people calling her, names, but since she hasn't really talked about or made a statement about it since 2017, people are still going to think what they want to think, and this war of Timothy versus Melanie is still going to happen. Some people are now taking Timothy's side, who used to be ride or die fans of Melanie, saying that they are believing Timothy's story more than there are people who say that they're still on Melanie's side because the dates still don't add up and the story doesn't make sense. Which, yeah, the story was a bit of a mess. I ain't gonna front with you. I'm not sure if Timothy is still talking about it now since the thread on Reddit ends after the video she posted on TikTok, but that's probably the only thing that we really have right now. I'm just hoping Melanie will be able to speak out about it, whether she actually wants to set the record straight with everyone without her company breathing down her neck, or she just feels it's best to just not talk about it on her own accord, which, not the best move, but regardless of what the allegations say, she'll still have her fan base of people who still like her. Of course, I'm not gonna justify sexual assault and say it's okay, it's cool, and whatever the hell else, because it's not. But at the end of the day, if Mel wants to respond when her company allows her to, the door to a response is open for her. I'll just be really disappointed if it comes out that what 𝒸𝒃𝓃 said about Melanie back in 2017 was true. Surely there's three sides to every story, with the truth being in the middle. So what do we know so far about this whole thing? Melanie and 𝒸𝒃𝓃 had some form of relationship with each other. There was most likely some miscommunications from the two, and then the third part, there isn't really much evidence from either. Of course, 𝒸𝒃𝓃 had photos and whatever else, but there was also some hiccups in that story too.
I want to come on here and just clarify that I am in no way trying to invalidate 𝒸𝒃𝓃's story. Is not something to take lightly, especially if you believe that the world is against you just because you came after somebody's favorite artist. In no way do I want this video to be a, oh, I don't believe 𝒸𝒃𝓃, or oh, 𝒸𝒃𝓃 is this and 𝒸𝒃𝓃's lying. It's just my thoughts and opinions at the time, because in the earlier stages of this script, I was kind of teetering on the edge of 𝒸𝒃𝓃 may not be exactly telling the whole truth, but there is still more truth to her side than Melanie, essentially, because at the end of the day, 𝒸𝒃𝓃 is the loudest voice out of the two, and there's more evidence coming in from her end than Melanie's end. And Melanie has only really responded twice. One being the she didn't say no to things that we chose to do together, and Piggyback. Those are the only two responses that we've really gotten from Melanie. And then, you know, 𝒸𝒃𝓃 was making TikToks, 𝒸𝒃𝓃 was going on live, 𝒸𝒃𝓃 was making posts. She was doing a bunch of things to get the story out. She went on Daily Mail to even get her story out, which led to her being ran off the internet. And, you know, with all that we have, we're only able to hear the one who's crying the loudest. Not essentially crying like a bad thing, but essentially being the loudest voice out of everyone. And like I said, we don't exactly know the full story. The only story we really know is based off of what 𝒸𝒃𝓃 is sharing to everyone and Melanie's song, essentially. Which, we're not getting much, but, you know. What more can we do as fans than speculate on what we could possibly believe is the truth?
Also, going back to the second point, allegedly both of them were intoxicated, like I said earlier, most likely high and intimate with one another. In some way, both of them believed two different things, that being 𝒸𝒃𝓃 believing she was sexually assaulted by Melanie, and Melanie thinking that it was consensual because she never said no to what we chose to do together. To be completely honest, I feel like both of them should just talk it out. 𝒸𝒃𝓃 tell Melanie face to face that she wasn't comfortable with what happened between the two, and she was really hurt by what happened. That way, Melanie can give a formal apology if 𝒸𝒃𝓃 wants one. But I definitely feel like it was a miscommunication between the two, and correct me if I'm wrong, but wouldn't it be best to kind of inform someone of what they've done wrong? 𝒸𝒃𝓃 doesn't have to do it. She's not obligated to do so just because some small channel told her to. If she's not up to it, or she doesn't want to face someone who she feels sexually assaulted her, is her business and her business only. As for Melanie, what I hope they can take away from this situation is to be more communicative. Communication is so important. Partners or besties, talking stage, whatever. Communicating boundaries verbally is so important. I swear people just don't want to communicate anymore because a lot of people fear rejection or confrontation, which is okay, but at the same time, you can't expect people to know what you're thinking all the time. If y'all don't talk it out, it'll only stir the pot more, especially if you're bringing it to the internet rather than communicating it privately and then telling everyone like, hey, we're cool, or hey, let's bury this, I don't want to talk about it anymore. Anyways, thank you so much for watching the video. If you want more commentary videos like these, make sure to leave a thumbs up on the video. Comments are also open. I want to hear your opinions and your criticisms, whether it be about Melanie, 𝒸𝒃𝓃, or me, and how dog shit this video is. And just a quick reminder, do not go out and actively harass these people. I don't condone that shit, and neither should you. If you don't like being harassed by anyone, I'd suggest not stooping to a harasser's level. This has been Bacon in the Soap, and I'll see you all in the next video, whenever that may be. Bye bye!